going on, Paul?
Yo, how are you?
I'm doing good, man.
Good. How's the tour?
Man, nonstop.
Pretty crazy, huh?
People ask, like, when does the tour start? When does it stop? It doesn't stop. We just changed the name.
Where did the nickname Fluffy come from?
Ooh, man, that was over 15 years ago. I called myself fat around my mom, and she was like, you're not fat, Mijo, you're fluffy. And I basically ran with it. I got upset at a show when I did a joke about being fluffy, and people were calling me that instead of Gabriel after the show. And eventually I just, I said, the hell with it. Let me just embrace it instead of fighting it. And now it's to the point where if you Google the word fluffy, I'm the number one thing that pops up over bunnies and comforters.
So you're going to be at the Budweiser Event Center here in Loveland. Thursday, September 24 is the show date for Gabriel Iglesias. The tickets are on sale now through their website, and we're going to throw this up on our website as well so you can check that out. It's going to be a great show, but what can we expect from the show? What will it be like?
I'm working on my new special right now called I'm Sorry for What I Said When I Was Hungry. That's the special I'm working on. A show that's very relatable to anybody with families is basically the demo that I'm going after, and it's actually a very family friendly show. So if you want all kinds of craziness and madness, you got to show up real early so you can catch my opening acts, and then I hit the stage. Tell
us about the family friendly aspect of that, because you don't hear that too often with a traveling comedy show.
No, I mean I wanted to find a way of being able to perform anywhere and everywhere, and the one thing everybody can relate to is dealing with family, friends, being a fish out of water. I don't talk about politics. I don't talk about religion. I stay away from sports. So I'm not really roughing up the crowds a little bit. You know what I mean? I go out there. It's a good time. I tell a bunch of stories.
And what about after the show? You ever get a chance to interact with your crowds or meet people? Or
for the longest time, I was doing meet and greets after the shows with the entire theater. So you got to figure my show was about 2 hours long, and then I was doing a meet and greet that lasted about 6 hours.
Wow.
After the shows. And eventually it took its toll on my knees. I had to have knee surgery. So the meet and greets are a lot shorter now.
That's understandable, but it sounds like you're ready to give whatever you have to give to your adoring public because they're the source of your livelihood, I guess, right?
Yeah, I gave up my privacy a long time ago. So, I mean, when I go to the mall or go to a restaurant, I make it very clear people can come up and say hi if they want to take a picture. The only thing that I have issues with is whenever people put me on the phone, because then I got to spend 5 minutes proving it's me.
And it's a lot easier to prove when it's you in person, right?
Yeah, and then instead of hearing the aunt from wherever else, and she's like, it's not you, put her back on the phone, and I'm like, great.
How much radio do you do?
If you had to break it down, it's probably about 10 stations a week.
Yeah, a lot, right?
Yeah.
What do you wish we would ask you? That's
an awesome question.
What would be the best thing? Because honestly, I talk to comedians sometimes, and I'm not always prepared to get them into their material. I don't know if they want to do their material. Like, how could I do a good job at talking to a comedian who's coming?
Look at their bio on Wikipedia, and just know that they've been asked everything that you see in the first 3 sentences probably 100 times. So questions that we rarely get are like, what makes you happy? How do you decompress?
Yeah.
Do you have any habits? Do you have any crazy habits that you'd like to talk about, but you can't because you signed a contract?
So tell us about those. Do you have any crazy habits that you can't talk about?
I'll just say yeah, but I signed a contract.
The contract is signed.
What do they call those? Morality clauses?
Yeah, something like that.
I remember when I was doing a show on the Nickelodeon network years ago called All That, and we all had to sign morality clauses that said basically like, you won't get caught, nobody will catch any photos of you in front of a strip club, or you can't be seen drinking because you're on a Nickelodeon show.
And what was that like? Was that difficult to deal with?
At the time, I didn't. I wasn't into strippers or alcohol, so it was. Yeah, I was like, this is easy.
But now, is it different now?
I take the fifth, bro. I'm up for a sitcom right now, so yeah, there's paperwork in play.
What comics do you like who are working today?
Ooh, good question. The comics that make me laugh a lot are comics that do routines that are nothing like mine. For example, I avoid religion and politics, but yet I love watching comics like Chris Rock, Jim Jeffries, Bill Maher, comics in that vein. My favorite show to watch right now is the John Oliver show.
Yeah. Last week with John Oliver, right?
Yeah, that's a great show. And he's uncensored, which is even better.
Yeah. Yeah. What about growing up? Did you have any comics that you looked up to when you were growing up?
I think growing up, it was a different sense of humor because I think fart jokes were the funniest thing to me when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So it was either fart jokes or Eddie Murphy. And they were hand in hand. So for me, the one that made me laugh the most was Eddie. I'd play the tape, and this was back when it was a tape. I'd play the tape over and over and over.
Is that the one where he imitates the Secret Service, the people who protect the president, talking about the difference between white Secret Service agents and
Secret Service and black Yeah, man.
I had that tape too, bro. Ooh. I'm gonna save the president. I remember that. I'll never forget that, man. We used to listen to it, and we had to hide it from our mom because, it wasn't clean, if I remember correctly, and I was like 7 or 8.
No, it wasn't, man. Yeah, that was one of those you had to listen to, like when people weren't around, or you'd have to listen to it in the closet.
Was Eddie Murphy the funniest person ever? I mean, or is it just that we grew up with him like that?
I think it's just that we grew up with him, because now I don't find the same, if I go back and I watch those specials, it's not as funny to me. But maybe it's because I'm so jaded now after years of being on the road and doing stand-up.
All right. Well, Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy, Budweiser Event Center, Thursday, September 24. Hey, I appreciate your time, man. I hope you have a great show.
Thank you, and thanks for that question. Now I'm going to start thinking about it more.
All right, buddy. Thank you.